friends. How are you today? So good to see you as always. Oh my gosh, I'm living my best life, and today is no exception whatsoever. I am proud and honored to introduce you to Jacob Lewis with the Fitzpatrick Group. I think I've got both parts right. Did I get them right?
You did, yes, that is correct.
We are off to a great start. Yay. Well, Jacob Lewis is a life insurance professional expert with the Fitzpatrick Group. And welcome, welcome, welcome. Good to see you.
It's very good to be here. Very good.
Thank you for
Very happy.
coming. So, life insurance is a very broad
Oh
subject.
yeah.
So, help me and our faithful viewers understand what life insurance means. What does life insurance mean?
Yeah, well, in a very basic sense, life insurance is protecting your life, right? Protecting your family. There's a lot of value around a person's life, and the people bring in income. People have kids, spouses. That if something were to happen, they need an income replacement. They won't leave money behind for their kids to go to college. They have debts. The outstanding debts that might need to be paid off. So life insurance is a great asset to have this big pile of money that gets paid out to your family if anything were to happen to you. So that's basically what in the very sense what life insurance is. And there's other aspects of life insurance you can get into depending on what kinds there is. There's a whole different type of policies, but in a very general broad sense, that's what it is. And a lot of people have a need for it. It's very important.
Well, yeah, because it is a very broad subject. So
Yeah,
we're
it
going to
is a
try
very
our
broad
best.
subject. Yeah.
So, on a scale of 1 to 10, how important is it to have life insurance?
Oh man. It's definitely like a 9 or a 10. I mean, especially it depends on everybody's situation, right? If you're a single person and you don't really have any kids or any family you need to leave anything behind, it might not be a need for you at some point. But if you ever have a need for, if you're ever planning on having kids or a family or anybody you want to leave anything behind to, it's a good idea to start looking into it, because the way this term and life insurance industry works is the younger you are and the healthier you are, the cheaper it is to get it. And once you have it, it doesn't change, right? So if you get it at a young age and healthy, and you have a term for 20 to 30 years, then if things change in the future, well, you still have your contract. Nothing changes. So it's kind of beneficial to start early. And if you're a planner, right? If you want to plan ahead, getting lots of death benefit at age 30 or 40 compared to age 20 or 25, it's a lot of money. There's a difference there, and your premium, your payments don't change, right? So if you are paying $20 for a certain amount of money at a young age compared to having the same amount at an older age, well, you're paying a lot more. So it's just one of those things where you have to kind of plan out your future, right?
Think ahead.
Oh yeah, think ahead. And if you have any sort of plans of having a family or having kids or leaving behind anything to anyone, it's something to think about for sure.
And how long do the terms usually last? And I'm
Right. So
a
yeah.
life insurance novice, so
Right. So usually the terms are anywhere from 10, 15, 20 to 30 years.
okay.
Yeah. Usually we see mostly people getting about 20-year terms, because the terms actually also increase the price. So obviously 30 years are a lot more expensive compared to the 10 years, but 20 is a very good middle ground. People like to get that.
And so is it too young to start or is it too old to start? What do you think about that?
I mean, I wouldn't say there's a too old to start. It just depends. It really just depends on your budget, right? Because the older you are, the more expensive it is, and the younger that you are, I mean, it might fall off. If you get it at 18 for a 30-year term, you might still need more life insurance when the term ends, but you can always get another term, and it just depends. And then there's a whole other world of whole life that's a kind of a crazier, bigger conversation when it comes into life insurance. Because right now we just been talking about term life insurance. Whole life insurance is a whole big monster to tackle. It's different.
So that's a very good question. So what's the difference briefly, or
Yeah.
just for our novice viewers like me,
Yeah.
what's the difference between term life insurance and whole life insurance?
So whole life insurance is permanent, right? So whenever you get it, it lasts forever. Gee, 121, basically. It's kind of the age that it cuts off, which is kind of a funny number, right? So if you outlive your 121 whole life insurance, congratulations. But So the death benefit lasts forever, right? So it can be a great need if you're planning on like, well, I always need death benefit. That's great. You can get a whole life insurance contract. They are more expensive, obviously, because it lasts forever. But there's also this cool little tidbit to it. There's a cash value. So some of the premium or the contributions you put into your contract, you're actually able to access it while you're living and working or in retirement. And it's a great tool you can add to kind of add your kind of financial portfolio almost. So it's one of those tools you can actually use. The money you put into it, it's not just you don't get you. It's not just getting access to it when you die. You're actually able to use some of it while you're living and working, which is a cool little tidbit to that.
Ah, that's fascinating. So if you use it, do you have to put it back?
Uh, it depends, but it's considered a transfer of capital. So the money that you actually take out of it is tax exempt, which is also a cool little tidbit.
Okay.
And if you structure the right policy the right way, there are ways for you where you don't have to pay it back. You don't always have to pay it back. If you're structuring a policy for retirement, you definitely don't have to pay it back. And if you're structuring a policy for investing while you're living and working, it's a good idea to pay it back. You don't actually have to pay it back. And there's a whole different big conversation and intricacies behind why that works. And I won't get into it today, but the right whole life policy can be used to where you don't have to really pay any of that money back. You've already kind of paid into it.
Okay, so this is segueing into my next statement. You
Yeah,
need a professional to help you with this.
you do. It's a complicated beast, I guess, when it comes to life insurance, especially once you venture away from term life insurance, because I feel like everyone can kind of get the idea of, basic term life insurance. You have death benefit, you pay into it. That's it, right? The conversation ends there. But this whole life situation, it's very interesting and tough to kind of grasp, especially with how there's so many different types of policies out there. Some are good, some are bad, some you need, some you don't need. So it's about understanding what you need and what works for you.
So this is when a professional like Jacob comes in. It's not
Hmm.
just going online and doing a Google search for life
Oh
insurance.
yeah, exactly. Because
Please don't do that.
right, because when you Google whole life insurance, you'll get everything from it's the best thing, it's the best thing since sliced bread to it's the worst thing in the world to everything in between. So it's about knowing exactly what policy what each policy will do for you and what you need. Some people don't have a need for whole life. Some people can't afford it. Some people have a need for term insurance. It's just very specific to each person's situation. There's always a solution for somebody.
Yeah, because I mean, your family's different, your age is different, your health is different.
Oh
There's so
yeah,
many variables, and they're not going to do
yes,
that. You need to talk to a professional.
for sure, for sure.
Don't be drawn in by the fancy click ads.
Oh yeah, no, there's lots of $5 life insurance guaranteed to insure you. It's like, well, why do you think they're handing out these life insurance contracts to just anybody, right? You don't want them, you want them to actually kind of check your health. You want to get it from a reputable place to where, if something were to happen, they actually do pay out your death benefit. That's the last thing you don't want to actually get a contract and like something were to happen and then the money doesn't actually even get paid out. So you want to make sure you're getting it from a reputable place as well.
And Fitzpatrick Group is world renowned. They're all professionals. They know all the ins and outs, all the details, all the minutia. You don't know
Yes,
what you don't know.
exactly.
So, what is the best way to reach you? An email or phone number, a combination of both?
I would say email and phone number. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. My phone number, I'm usually always responding to my phone. My phone is probably the best way, but I so always check my email as well. So both. I would say both, definitely.
And do you mind sharing those digits if the kids say?
Yeah. So my phone number is 713-201-6410. And my email is jlewis. So it's JLEWIS at fitzgroup.com. So it's FITZGRP.com.
Very
So
good.
it's not the word group, it's just GRP.
GRP
Yep.
and Fitz.
Yeah, Fitz Group.
Well, this has been a very interesting conversation. I know it's much deeper than this, but this just
It
touches the
does.
surface and shows how knowledgeable you are on this. You rattled off this stuff. I'm super impressed.
Thank you. Thank you. I took a lot of time learning about it. It takes a lot of research and training, I will say, but I love talking about it.
And that's another good point. Training. You are
Yeah.
always trained. You always know the best, what's going on, new trends, new laws, new regulations. This is why you need to
Oh
speak to
yeah.
a professional. So
Yeah, it's important to be up to date on all that stuff, especially in this industry. It's an ever-changing world. Really, it is.
I cannot recommend Jacob enough. Call him for your life insurance needs, and he'll speak plain English to you so you understand the whole thing.
Yes, I'll make it simple. I'll make it simple.
Very good. All right. Well, thank you so much for being here. This is very informative, lots of fun, and you will really enjoy getting to know Jacob and his knowledge.
Thank you so much for having me, Jennifer.
All right. Well, thank you, my friends. Be safe and be well, and we'll see you next time. Bye. Thanks, Jacob.